Both parties, please raise your right hands.
Plaintiff Ronnie Davenport is suing the defendant, Christy Friel, for medical bills, the cost of eyeglasses, and emotional distress. Ronnie says Christy hit her with her car, but Christy says the plaintiff tried to jump into her car during an altercation. Christy is countersuing for harassment and emotional distress.
All rise. The Honorable Judge Pirro presiding.
Good afternoon. How are you, Jimmy?
You may be seated.
All right, today Ronnie Davenport is suing Christy Friel for medical bills, cost of eyeglasses, and emotional distress, and Christy is countersuing for harassment and emotional distress. Why don't you tell me, Ronnie, I'll start with you. Why are we here today?
In March of 2008, myself and Carmen were at a local bar having a couple of beers. I was the designated driver. And when we got ready to leave and we'd gotten it, we went outside and Christy had pulled in behind me and blocked me in, and there was another car in front to where I couldn't get out. And as I turned my wheels to try and maneuver out, somebody started beating on my passenger window and screaming and hollering and cussing. And when we opened up the door, realized it was Christy. We got out, I turned my vehicle off. We got out, we walked back. She was back in her car by this point.
That's not true at all.
And
That's not true?
No.
All right.
No.
What time is this, by the way?
this was at like 1:30.
1:30
in the morning.
And
I'm sorry, in the morning.
What's the name of the place you were in?
Booger Reds.
What?
Booger Reds.
Booger Reds.
Mm-hmm.
Are you at Booger Reds that night?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What time is this happening?
It was approximately 2, but the clocks at the
2 in the
bar
morning?
set a half hour ahead so they can get
everybody
closing
out.
done.
Yeah. Does the owner know that? All right. 2 o'clock in the morning at Booger Reds. You get in your car. You're with Carmen. Christy is knocking on the window of your car. You can't figure out why. And did you knock on her window before or after she hit your car or allegedly hit it?
What happened was I come out of the bar and my car was being hit, and I ran up to the truck and tapped on Carmen's window, which is the passenger side, to tell them to stop moving because they were hitting my vehicle.
Okay, and what did Carmen do?
At that time, Carmen had got out of the car and we ended up in a argument, just aggressive argument, cursing back and forth.
Okay, is aggressive argument touching?
No.
Okay. All right, Ronnie, back to you.
Okay, so anyways, when we got out of the car, all of a sudden she put her vehicle in drive and hit on the gas and pushed my truck about 10 foot out into the parking lot while it was not even running and it was in park. And I went up to the passenger's door where Billy was sitting, her boyfriend, and I was asking him, what is she doing this for? Why is my truck being pushed out in the parking lot? Mm-hmm. And about that time, she put it in reverse and the door hit me.
Hold on.
The door hit me and knocked me down to the ground.
What?
And about that time, two of the doormen...
Okay, now I'm going to stop. So you get into your car, you put it in drive, you're behind her?
No, ma'am.
Or are you in front of her?
She skipped a whole part of the
No,
story.
I'm not asking you that. Before you get to that, are you in front of her or behind her?
I'm parked behind her.
And you see her hit your car?
Yes, ma'am.
You then get into your car, or what happens next?
I walked back to look at the damages with Ronnie. She had then got out of the vehicle also and looked at the damages, and I told her I wasn't trying to have any altercations. The damages weren't bad enough to do anything. I wasn't worried about it. During that time that I'm speaking with her, Carmen and Billy were arguing and getting louder and closer to me, so then I turned around and entered into the argument, and the bouncers were notified and come out and tried to stop everything. At that point, I was slammed onto the hood of my car.
By whom?
One of the bouncers, and I had refractured my jaw.
So, but you had a fractured jaw from that night and a refracture of an old fracture.
Right.
Were you there that night?
Yes.
Step up. Did you see Ronnie hit Christy's car?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
And what did Christy do when she knocked on the window where Carmen was?
She ran up and knocked on the window and said, "Hey, you're hitting my car, stop your truck."
Right.
And Carmen got out of the car and started yelling at everybody.
What is Carmen yelling for? Well, what is she saying?
She asked what was going on. Why are you beating on my window? You want to fight? We can take care of this.
Okay, and so you end up getting thrown on the hood of your car.
A few minutes later, yes, after
by the bouncer. Why is a bouncer throwing you on the hood of your car?
Carmen is
actually-
actually an employee there. She is a bartender. She was off-duty drunk.
All right, Carmen, step up. You're in the car with Ronnie. You're going home. You've been drinking in the bar. How long you guys been drinking in the bar?
I made a night of it. Had a driver. We were there from approximately 8 or 9 o'clock, and they were there the entire time also.
All right. What was the argument? What are you fighting about?
When I got out, and she got out, we were all screaming at each other. She was screaming at us because we hit her car, and we were screaming back.
All right, well, what's the next thing after you two are arguing? Does somebody separate you, or is that when you get thrown on the hood?
After I got slammed on the hood of my car, Carmen tried to get over this side to get to me, and he grabbed her to keep her from getting to me. Then he got punched in the face. I have pictures of that.
Let's see it. So who punched you in the face?
Carmen.
Carmen, did you punch him in the face?
It was
All right, did you go to the hospital?
No.
Did you go to a doctor?
No, I did not.
All right, she decked you. Why is she decking you?
Because I grabbed a hold of her to pull her away from Christy.
What was she doing to Christy?
While the bouncers were holding Christy, she was sitting there hitting her and pulling her hair.
Do you have injuries? Do you have pictures?
I had pictures because whenever I went to jail,
Where are the pictures?
the cops wouldn't release them to me.
Do you have police report?
They would not release
any-
anything to me.
Plaintiff Ronnie Davenport is suing the defendant for medical bills and the cost of eyeglasses due to a bar brawl.
Do you have any evidence?
Yes, I do, Your
What do
Honor.
you
I
have?
have a police report of the
Let's see it.
incident. And I
How
also
come she
have,
gets the police report?
I don't know.
I also
That's
have
what we'd like to know.
pictures of the back of my vehicle.
Oh, dear. Victim is Ronnie. They're alleging that you're the victim, Ronnie. Okay, and this, Ronnie, is this your car?
Yes, it is.
All right, and, okay, so you're saying that Christy drove into the back of your car?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Christy, take a look at this and take a look at the police report. Jimmy, thank you. When she drove into your car, what happened?
That's when I went up to the passenger side, and because the area that I was in was over on the passenger side. I went up and I asked Billy, I said, why is she doing this? What's her problem? What's going on? And about that time, like I said, she threw it in reverse and hit me. The door was open and it hit me. It knocked me to the ground. Two of the bouncers came over. One of them picked me up out of the way. The other one dove in through the passenger side door to get the keys out of the ignition so she didn't wind up running over anybody. And at that time, Carmen had seen what happened and she came to my defense and she went after Christy. And Billy got a hold of Carmen in the back.
Carmen, after Ronnie gets knocked down by the open door in the car that Christy's driving,
Right.
you then go after Christy.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, then what happens?
They were actually hitting each other.
Carmen and Christy.
Carmen and Christy. And Billy had Carmen, but the back of the hair even pulled out hair out of her head. She had a small bald spot in her head. When the bouncers broke it all up, somehow she got her keys back.
Who?
And Christy, apparently the bouncer got the keys out of the ignition. After she knocked me down.
And then the
he went
bouncer
in.
gave Christy the keys back?
I think he had given it to one of the other bouncers.
Did you get your keys back that night?
That whole entire thing is not true.
Well, let me ask you something. I've got damages to the back of Ronnie's car. I've got a police report saying that you hit her car.
I've also got
You did.
statements from all
All
the
right,
bouncers.
thank you for
too.
being honest.
The story is totally not like that.
What happened?
It got broke up, and I was instructed to leave the bar, or the cops would be called. I didn't want to drive. I had plans for a ride coming. The ride wasn't going to be there at that time.
Well, where's he?
He's with me.
Yeah, I was with her, and we actually got into the car, and Ronnie had actually reopened my door after I had closed it and tried to climb in the car. And when she did not notice because she was talking to the bouncer.
I was being guided to back up to get her truck off of the front of my car.
Or to get your car out from under her car?
No, ma'am, I didn't hit her. Well, yes.
You already
Vice versa.
admitted you hit her.
Not at that time. I hit her later. I hit her trying to get out.
With the bouncer directing you, you hit
The
her?
bouncer was standing at my
So
driver
where's the
door.
bouncer?
He's standing at my driver door telling me to back up. And I was paying attention to him while she was trying to get in my passenger door. What for? Whether it was attack me, get my keys, I don't know.
All right. Do you have any injuries?
Yes, I do, and I have doctor bills. And I also have statements from some of the witnesses that night too, if you'd like to see
That were
that.
all employees at the bar.
Yeah, all right, I get it. You're calling her witnesses interested witnesses who were inclined to be biased toward her because they work in the same place.
Yes, ma'am. When we went to court, I took Carmen to court for assault and battery. They would not accept her witnesses because they worked for the bar.
Were you convicted of assaulting Carmen?
No, ma'am. I was convicted of DUI, and I was also charged at the time of the incident. I was charged with assault with a dangerous weapon, and that was dropped down to careless driving.
Did you guys get convicted of anything?
I didn't. I was not ticketed. I was not.
But you
nothing
were
happened to me.
charged, Carmen.
She was charged with an assault and battery.
Assault. And it didn't go forward because?
As soon as I got out of jail, I turned around and went right into the police station next door and pressed charges for assault and battery.
And?
They took pictures of me. They took statements from him and my mother, and they would not release any of those pictures.
No,
or
what
anything.
happened to the case?
We
She
went
was
to
found
court
guilty.
on June 30th.
So you've been convicted. Why does it take so long to get an answer to this question?
She was found
So
guilty.
you two are convicted, public intox, careless driving. You're convicted of what?
Assault and battery.
All right, witnesses, sit down. All right. Look, I'll tell you what I have here. As far as I'm concerned, I've got a bunch of people out drinking for the night. I'm not even going to ask you where the first time you fractured your jaw. I have people here drinking. You're allegedly a designated driver. You're drinking all night too.
I had 2 beers, Your Honor.
You had 2 beers? For
2
6
beers.
hours? Are you kidding me?
I had not. I got there about 9 o'clock that night,
And you're leaving at 2 in the morning, 5 hours.
and I drank Dr. Pepper the rest of the night. I go in there. I've been going in there for quite a few years, and I do go in there and do nothing but drink Dr. Pepper a lot of times.
Okay. You drink Dr. Pepper and 2 beers. All right. Now you're watching this fisticuffs going on. All right. You're getting knocked down by a car that she's driving. And at the end of the day, you end up getting into your car and driving away.
No, I did not.
How'd you get out?
The police came and asked me, did I want to file a report? I said yes. My son took me to the emergency room, and I went home.
Okay.
Which then might I add that the claim of glasses, she came up to the car to where they serve you. She tells you what you're being arrested for.
Right.
There was nothing wrong with her. She had her glasses on. There was nothing visibly wrong.
What
I
about
couldn't
your
even
glasses?
open my glasses, Your Honor. I don't know how I had them on because I couldn't even open them. I didn't even have them with me that night. The lens is broke and the lens is scratched. They were knocked completely off of me.
What do you mean you didn't even have them with you that night?
When I went to the scene where they had been arrested, because I hadn't even found them in the parking lot at that point.
Because you were drunk.
No, because it was dark out there.
Let me ask you a question. Did the police give you a breathalyzer?
Yes, they did, ma'am.
Okay. Did the police give you a breathalyzer?
No, Your Honor.
Were you driving?
No, I was not.
Were you driving? No, she was your designated driver. Boy, that's a hoot. She's a designated driver.
Defendant Christy Friel says she was dragged by her hair during a bar brawl with the plaintiff, so she is countersuing for harassment and emotional distress.
All right. Now, and they arrest you initially for drunk driving and assault with a weapon.
Yes.
Okay. How many drunk driving convictions do you have?
None.
Okay. And you drove away that night? Yes. No.
Yes.
Yes. How do you drive away when you're so drunk that you're knocking her over with the door open to your car? You're in the middle of this crazy fisticuffs going on. You've got a prior fractured jaw, and the bouncers are throwing you on a car, and you just drive away? The police let you?
They told me that if I didn't leave, they were calling the cops, and I was instructed to leave by employees of that bar. I did not plan to drive home. I had a plan of my roommates coming to pick me up, and it didn't work out that way.
Here's the deal. You're drunk. You know you're drunk. Mm-hmm. You're telling me that the bouncers are telling you to take off.
They did.
Yes.
Either that's happening or you're taking off because you don't want the cops to see you.
No, ma'am. They told me to leave because Carmen would not stop.
Let me tell you something, all of you. First of all, why don't you get another pastime?
I don't.
Why
go.
do you, huh?
No, I was saying I don't go to the bars anymore.
Are you done drinking?
Yes, ma'am. I have 3 kids to take care of. I do not go
You're
anymore.
Gonna lose your
scared
kids.
me. It scared me very much.
You know that. You're going to either end up dead, you're going to lose your kids, and you know what? At the end of the day, you better figure out what's dragging you to these bars at night, making you swallow away your sorrows and deal with them and confront it. What you've got to do is recognize you're a mother, you've got 3 kids, you don't want to end up in jail, you got 2 fractured jaws, that's enough for a lifetime. End it there. Now, You work in a bar. Why do you have to go to the bar on your day off? What's wrong with you? Go to the pool. Go somewhere else. Go for a swim. Go shopping. And you, stop going to the bars. All of you. Every 39 minutes, someone is killed by a drunk driver in this country. And the police have got to take care of all of the people who are out there drinking and driving, and they don't have the capacity to do it. Mothers Against Drunk Driving was started by a woman named Candy Lightner when her own daughter was murdered by a drunk driver. And MAD is Mothers Against Drunk Driving, MAD, is dedicated to the prevention of drunk drivers on the road. And they've got a new project where what they're trying to do is install some kind of ignition device where if someone is previously drunk, then they've got to blow into this device or the car doesn't turn on. You've all driven drunk. There is no doubt in my mind, as sure as I'm sitting here, based on the lifestyle that I hear about right now. You, and for those of you who are in the audience, you think you see someone who's drunk? Call 911. Tell them where they are. If you're in a bar and people are drop dead drunk, call the police. Let the police know, because they're going to get out there and they're going to kill somebody. If they want to kill themselves, that's their business. But the problem is they generally end up surviving and other innocent people are killed. As far as I'm concerned, in this case, this is a classic example of a drunken brawl. It's 2 a.m, everybody's had too much to drink, you hit her car, and she hits your car. Now, I'm going to award damages for the plaintiff for medical bills in the amount of $300. You're seeking emotional distress of $1,000. You want money for $500 for harassment and $500 for emotional distress. What I'm going to do is I'm going to order $300 for the medical bills. You've proven that you have medical bills. As far as I'm concerned, you're no more entitled to emotional distress than she is for emotional distress and harassment. It's a drunken brawl. That's the end of it. Stop drinking, all of you.